Today I'm going to show you how to upgrade the radio on a 70s car or any old vehicle. I'm going to give an overview of what I did for my 1978 Lincoln Continental. I actually went to a website called Crutchfield. I'm not trying to advertise for them. I'm just saying that the website was very helpful. I ordered a Sony radio. I got a Kicker Amplifier. I ordered the speakers, the speaker wiring, even the fuses to protect the radio. You want to put a fuse protector for the radio and the amplifier. I'll get to that later. That basically, if you get a surge, it will blow the fuse before it blows the radio or your amplifier. So you always want to put that for protection. Crutchfield's got these how-to videos. You go to their website, the videos are on they link them to YouTube as well. And those videos really give you a lot of information on how to run a radio or upgrade the radio in any car, whether new or old. But for this 70s car, I'm going to kind of show you what I did. Driving a 70s car, unfortunately, the radios they came with in the 70s aren't like what they got today. And so I upgraded the radio to a new radio. I'll get to that in a second. So this is the first step. So this is my radio. You can see it's a Sony XAV 8500. Just gonna kind of turn this on. What's great about going with these touch screens, of course, is they're for a 70s car. They're rectangular, so they kind of blend in well with the 70s dash. Depending on your car and all. I got lucky because the 78, 79 Lincolns, they have a lot of room in the dash. Basically, this covers where the radio used to be, and there's a Cartier clock behind it, which I don't use because the Cartier clock quit working years ago. I basically kind of cut this part of the dash out. It was a one din. Most 70s cars are one din. And so what was great about this Sony radio was it was one din, and it's very adaptable. It goes back and forth, up and down. I'll get to that again. But the first step before you do any radio upgrade in a 70s car is you want to put in the radio. And then if you get the radio in, the next step is you want to put the amplifier in the trunk, which will provide better sound. And then after the amplifier, you put in your speakers. You got to replace all the speakers and the speaker wiring to the speakers, and I'll get to that later. But anyway, this is my radio, and I'm going to do kind of a step-by-step of what I did to get this radio in my car. Get the stereo itself, or the radio, installed on the dash. The next step is to put in your amplifier. Now the amplifier has to get power directly from the battery, and so that's kind of what I got here. I got the wiring for the amplifier. Of course, you got to start from the battery and go to the trunk. The best place I find to put an amplifier for a 70s car is to bolt it inside the trunk. That's what I did. You can put it under your, maybe find another spot, but for me, I wanted it in the trunk. And so I had to run wiring from the battery to the amplifier in the truck. I did not go with a big amplifier. If you go with a supersized amplifier where you want to boom the whole neighborhood down with rap music, you may need to put an additional battery, which you can put in the trunk as well. I put an amplifier that was good enough to basically provide good sound system inside my car without draining the battery too much. So basically I feed power from the battery. And this goes to, I put this little thing in. Basically, I can run additional, if I want to power something else, I can put additional hook-ons. This goes to the amplifier in the trunk. I do have this fuse protector. It's a Bojack fuse protector. Basically, I got like a 80 amp, I think, amplifier or something like that. And this fuse protects, basically you want to get a fuse that's just under your amp rating for your amplifier. So that way, if there's a surge, the fuse will blow first before the amplifier blows. So this protects the amplifier. I also got a fuse protector for the stereo. I forgot to talk about that, but it's inside the dash. The stereo is usually like, 50 amps. And so you want to put a fuse protector for the stereo as well. And so basically your power comes from the battery. This is the power from the battery. This goes to this sub bar that then provides power for other things. This basically returns power to the car itself, the starter and all that. But this then goes to this fuse protector, which then I feed into the whatever you call that. It goes inside the car itself. And then what I did is, of course I locked the door like a dummy. You then feed this amplifier wire. See, I came in like right here behind this carpet. So I was able to, you know, what you do, you undo the door plates, and you can get under the carpet. And so basically my wiring is running under the carpet. I had to remove the seat belts, you know, to get the wire in there, and then I go behind the seat. I got a video on how to remove the back seat of a typical 70s car and this car itself, and then you feed your wiring into the trunk. And then so your power supply comes, and I got a Kicker amplifier. I got the power supply comes to the amplifier itself, and then the amplifier is grounded, so the ground goes to the car itself. So I grounded it to the car. You can see that's what that is. That black is the ground, and basically bolt that to the car. So your power supply comes to the radio, to the amplifier, and then you ground it into the car itself. Then this is the amplifier then provides power to each of the individual speakers, which you know, I got 2 rear speakers that I'm able to install from the trunk. That was easy to do. And then the ones in the door, those are a little more difficult. And so the next step is, after you do the speakers after you do your amplifier. If you can get your amplifier in, then you want to do the speakers. I also did a rear camera. You can see here in my license plate, I got a rear camera, and then that hooks up to the amplifier, which then feeds back to the stereo as well. So there's also a wire that's got to go back to the stereo as well to communicate with the stereo and the dash. And I'm able to pick up, when I back up my Lincoln, I can use the rear camera to see how close I am to things. And so that's the amplifier. That's kind of how you install the amplifier. Basically run your power supply to your amplifier. I put my amplifier in a trunk. It's bolted so it doesn't fall around. And you want to put your amplifier, I put mine up so that it gets air. It dissipates heat better this way. You want to make sure you don't have, you don't want to have stuff stacked up against your amplifier so it gets overheated. It needs to have, I like mine installed this way because it gets a lot more airflow to it. Okay,